Winter accelerates all the bad things that can happen to trailer electrical systems. Water is bad enough. It's an electrolyte that speeds up the oxidation or corrosion process of most metals. So it's always a problem for wire harnesses and connectors. But in the winter, in the snow belt, when salt, or even worse, magnesium chloride is applied to the highways, road spray becomes a much more aggressive electrolyte. It speeds up the process of oxidation dramatically. What's worse, the salt water can creep along a wire, underneath the insulation to penetrate deep into your wiring harness, reaching places you thought were protected. So, to make sure your trailers are prepared for winter, here are 8 important shop tips. Number 1. Check all your connections. Loose connections are one of the first places where water enters a wiring harness. So make sure all interior surfaces are liberally coated with anti-corrosion grease and check that the connection closes correctly and forms a tight seal. Number 2. Check for frayed wiring. Frayed insulation is another opening for salt water. It enters wherever the insulation is worn and wicks along through the harness to attack connectors and electrical components down the line. So inspect all cables and make sure all frayed wiring is spliced out with proper, well-sealed splices. Number 3. Check for sagging wires. Any wires that hang down from their correct runs are prime candidates for ice buildup. This snowballing effect adds to the total weight and stress on wires, wire supports, and connectors. As ice accumulates, the increased weight pulls on the wiring. It can cause more fraying, loose or severed connections, lamp dislocations, and stress on splices. If a splice or connection pulls out completely, you can lose your lighting. So make sure all wiring is tucked and tied up into its run so that ice and snow can't dislodge it. If a length of wire has to be exposed, use a wire tie to keep it from sagging. Also, make sure that all mud flaps are present and working correctly. They greatly reduce ice buildup behind the wheels. Number 4. Use the correct terminations. Choosing a harness design that uses male pin lamp terminations is a safer and better idea in all seasons, but especially in winter. If ice does succeed in pulling a wire free from a lamp, the end of the wire, since it has a female connector, won't cause a short by contacting metal surfaces on the trailer. Number 5. Check all drip loops. They should not be located where ice could build up. In winter, drip loops don't deflect water the way they do in warm weather. When those drips turn into icicles, as we've already discussed, the added weight can cause real problems. Number 6. Avoid tape splices. There should be no tape slices anywhere in your wiring. All splices should be heat sealed with shrink wrap. This is always true, but in the winter, grime buildup can hide splices that need attention. Number 7. Keep work areas well lit. Ice doesn't just build up on wiring. Steps can also be ice coated. Black ice in parking lots can be extremely treacherous. One of the best ways to avoid injuries is through the strategic placement of powerful, reliable work lights on the truck. It's true, not just in winter, but all year round. When you can see a hazard, you can avoid a hazard. Number 8. Check all battery connections. Finally, all battery connections need to be checked to make sure the required current is present. Terminals should be cleaned, tightened, and greased to protect the battery and the overall electrical system. So there you have it. 8 simple but important procedures that every fleet should follow to prepare for safe, reliable operations in winter and all year long.